Hello, fellow sapiens. This is your host, Sentient Sapien, once again with an intro to the second category of this channel, which is artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence in itself, as you all must be aware about that, it's a concept that pertains to making intelligent systems that are capable of doing a lot of things by themselves without any sort of predefined parameters or algorithms that are required for computer based systems or any sort of technology based systems that purposes. It's all over the news. It's a fairly old concept. The first time it was coined, this term was coined was in the name 1960s by McCarthy, who was a scientist as well as a philosopher. And since then, it has gained a lot of traction and advancements. But there is always, it's fairly new for the very reason being that there is no specific definition about artificial intelligence. It's still an evolving field, and there is like much more advancement that are coming forward. There are limitations, drawbacks that this area of modern technology faces as well at the same time. So I'm gonna begin with the definition about artificial intelligence and what does it entails. Uh, to tell you it in the most robust form, it's something what people call it like term it like cool things computers can do or can do for that purposes or and but to give it a more scientific explanation and a more scientific touch to it, there are two basic aspects of artificial intelligence. One being the autonomy or control and independent control over its own existence and system. The other is the adaptive behavior or the adaptive learning behavior. So where do these two aspects are combined and consolidated or assimilated into a system, it makes a system artificially intelligent in that regard. Uh, there is a definition that I have drafted myself about artificial intelligence, and on a course that I'm currently doing, I've almost done with it like 50 60% of it, and we're going to keep learning about it. And this channel is going to explore a lot of different areas of AI, not just from the technological point of view but from the philosophical point of view as well. And this specific category is designed for this very reason, that there is a philosophical debate about artificial intelligence, which is one aspect to it. Then there is a technological debate about artificial intelligence, which is the other aspect to artificial intelligence itself and the systems therein. So I'm going to read out the definition that I've drafted. Okay, so here it goes. It says artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that pertains to the functioning of systems in an autonomous and adaptive manner. It is further stated that AI is not specifically or strictly a concept which takes into account while determining a system to be intelligent that it merely behaves in an intelligent manner. For a system to be categorized as being artificially intelligent, it has to have characteristics to adapt to its environment, to amend slash modify the end result, thus working thus working independently beyond predefined parameters. As explained. In addition to this, the Turing test, the Chinese argument, which envisaged the arguments of a system to be intelligent, it has to behave with autonomy and adaptivity as humans do, thereby making them conscious machines in an abstract idea is an abstract idea for a philosophical discourse, which is in direct conflict with the operation of AI in the pragmatic scenario, because the debate of mutating human consciousness in artificially intelligent system is still fictional and is unrealistic at the present time. So the concept of indoctrinating or embedding, in other words, or combining consciousness of human to make a system intelligent, and what does it constitute to make a system intelligent, because there are many systems, as the two tests that I explained, which are primarily the precursors for determining a system to be an artificial intelligence system, or in other words, these two were used to determine whether a system can be categorized to be to be artificially intelligent or not. The first being the Turing test, which, if I go with the explanation of that, it was based on an Autobot, or that was used in a conversation with different humans and other people in some defined parameters of an experiment, and humans were to discern whether they were talking to a bot or a robot, for that matter, or to a human. And if it was not possible for them to decipher or discern whether they were talking to an Autobot or a human, the system was said to be intelligent and artificially intelligent. However, this theory has been rejected, and it has uh, been rejected with a lot of criticism, since it does not really take into account a lot of consciousness and the concept of consciousness of incorporating consciousness as well in artificial intelligence systems. The other is the Chinese argument, which was another experiment, and I'm going to explain that in one separate videos. I'm going to make a separate video about both of them together, explaining them together, and then differences between them, and how do they reach to a conclusion of defining a system to be artificially intelligent or not. So, some examples of artificially intelligent systems could be from space robots or Google assistants like Alexa, Siri. These are some of the software programs, or Spotify for that matter, which learns with the behavior of their users, and it adapts to those learnings and then provide you with information based on analysis of different patterns of data and collections and manipulation of that data that is uh, garnered and extracted through your web search history or your own search history or the places you visit over the course of time on internet or when you go online for that. There is one other thing which is a part of artificial intelligence, but specifically not as well, which is robotics. So robots can be explained as a combination or a device that has sensors and actuators uh, developed and assimilated into a console, and it works on a predefined parameter algorithm. Since there are a lot of things that has many devices that has those actuators and sensors, and they can be essentially categorized as being robots or robotic, but not artificial intelligence systems, since they don't have that adaptive behavior or the autonomous behavior of doing though. One such example is a UAV, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle, commonly known as drones. They are robotics for the matter of per se, but since they're controlled by humans remotely through a console, so they're not artificially intelligent systems. Although they do possess the systems of the sensors of actuators and sensors in them as well. Then I'm gonna move on to the illustration of artificial intelligence through a concept that is known as taxonomy. It's a concept of classifying correlated kind of subfields or related fields of one specific concept through an illustration. And the illustration that I'm using over here is a Euler diagram, which is going to explain what does the field of artificial intelligence entails. What other subjects or sub-related fields of artificial intelligence are there? So for that, I'm using a diagram that I've made myself, and here it goes. So as you can see on the top, it's called taxonomy, which means that specific concept, and it's a taxonomy of AI. So it's right here, and as you can see, it says a Euler diagram right here, which is used basically it's a circles and patterns that are used to identify different subfields and related fields within artificial intelligence. So there is a key to this diagram that I've made over here. So and these circles have been labeled with alphabets in a chronological order. So the orange circle, which is marked with A, it represents computer sciences, which is the biggest category, and everything from technology, which pertains to technology, basically modern technology or computer based technology, can be categorized under the field of the broad category of computer sciences. Then you have circle B, which is colored in green as being artificial intelligence, since it's a subfield of computer science. It's drawn inside that. Then you have in blue color alphabet C, the circle C, which represents machine learning, which is another subcategory of artificial intelligence, hence it's drawn inside the circle of artificial intelligence. Then you have D, which is colored in red, a circle. It's called deep learning, which is a further subcategory of machine learning. And then you have E, which is data sciences, since it's a completely different category, and but it has some aspects of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, and other areas and other subjects as well. That's why it's a part of computer sciences, but it's not completely within that category, because it's not just, it doesn't encompass just computer science, it encompasses as well other subjects like mathematics, economics, and other statistics as well. So that's why it has been made halfway through. So there is an overlap that you can see right here, which represents computer science, and as well as that it's this area which is independent of computer sciences as well. So I'll go by, I've already explained what computer science is and how does it independently is a bigger category, and it has technology, anything that pertains to computer technology can be categorized under computer sciences. Or I have explained about artificial intelligence. So I'm gonna go dive deep into machine learning, which is another concept in a subfield of artificial intelligence. Uh, so machine learning is a concept that pertains to extraction of information and analysis and learning and adaptive behavior of machines, and the way they communicate with other machines and humans as well, wherever appropriate. Uh, Example of that would be Siri assistants, or like computer-based assistants that are modeled in our phone, like Google Assistant, Alexa, or apps like Spotify, which has these algorithms programmed into them that adapts the behavior and the patterns of information through the search histories and the way we use them. So much as we use these apps, and they just identify those patterns, and they provide relevant information pertaining on our own patterns. So they learn and adapt to our usage. It's one example of that. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning, since this focuses more on the intricacies of machine learning, as in the mathematical patterns and algorithms and everything. And it's basically the science of machine learning itself. In the final thing which we have is data sciences, which, as the name suggests, is the science of analyzing the patterns in data and the broad picture of compiling data and making a useful information out of that data, as in the end user. Since data is like plethora of data that is available, it's a science that basically incorporate and make it useful in terms of explanation and illustration, to create a pattern out of it, or either to understand an algorithm that extracts or uh, use different information and then categorizes and further subcategorizes or analyze that data and form it and provide it to the end user, that it makes some meanings and sense to them. So that's what data sciences is used for. So we're gonna go in depth in all of these concepts on this channel, and there'll be separate video or a playlist which will explain all of these fields in separate videos, and I'll make separate videos for all of them together in a separate playlist explaining all these concepts in greater detail. In that, since it's just an introduction, so I'm going through all of them, what this specific category is going to cover. And perhaps I won't be able to cover what I have already jotted down some notes. There would be much more beyond this, that because it's a very vast field in itself. So there are a lot of things that I'm currently learning as well, and as I go through this like plethora of information, research papers, and everything that I go about, and that I read and then make my notes on it and try to understand that, it's like a long haul learning process that I'm going through as well. So there are many things that I don't know about artificial intelligence at this point in time, and as I come across them and I try to engage with them, I'll be able to explain it in a further more clarification, with further more clarification about that. So moving on, there are two concepts of artificial intelligence. One is called the artificial general intelligence, or commonly known as AGI. It's the more broader concept which encompasses the use of human consciousness. It's more fictional in nature, is because for the very reason that there is no realistic approach, neither a realistic device or a system that is in place that explains it. Then there is narrow intelligence that we have, which is more primarily in actions, things like small apps that are used for specific purposes, and they learn, adapt, and work in autonomy in those very specific areas. So, like playing poker or online games and interacting with computers in that areas, or apps like Spotify or other robots that are specifically designed for specific purposes, those are a part of narrow intelligence. We do not have artificial general intelligence as in the case right now. We don't have those devices, neither the interaction with the devices that can be categorized as artificial general intelligence in that area. So that's about the difference between artificial general intelligence and narrow intelligence. Then you have strong AI and weak AI, which is a similar concept and a subcategory of the same thing. That in a stronger AI, we have more stronger systems that are more sophisticated and more uh, adaptive in nature and more towards focused, and the other aspect, which is a weak AI, which is more general in nature, or in other words, it has more broad areas of artificial intelligence systems. But since it's not a reality right now, it's something that it's still debatable. There are two concepts of philosophy that are very relevant to artificial intelligence, and there have been a lot of research on that. These two concepts, and there pertains to consciousness. So there'll be a lot of debate about them. I've been currently reading some research papers on that. So the concepts are known as A consciousness and P consciousness, which is access consciousness and phenomenal consciousness. So to explain you what these two things, or these two types of consciousness are, the phenomenal consciousness is known as something that we can experience, and it can be defined in some kind of state, like as you can hear, sense, smell, or fear or emotions or anything of that matter. Any consciousness that can be experienced is phenomenal consciousness, whereas the access consciousness is something which is independent of phenomenal consciousness, or it cannot be felt. It's just a belief or an opinion about something. So if I give you an example or an instance of that, it could be like colors of flowers, like as in we know about them, we have experienced them, we can see those colors, we can smell flowers ourselves, their essence, and we can experience that. So anything that we can experience is phenomenal consciousness, whereas an access consciousness is something that is a belief system. So say for instance we have a, an imagination or a concept or a belief about zombies for that purposes, or monsters. So in other words, we can't experience them because they're not in reality, they don't exist. In a fabricated reality, we know about them, and that has been created through an imagination that we want to feel and we want to believe that a monster would look like that, or per se, uh, the imagination of having like UFOs or aliens. Those are a belief that we have that aliens would look like that or Martians would look like that. So it's a belief or an opinion that we have formed over an imagination. That's an excess consciousness. Since we can't experience it because it doesn't perhaps exist in reality, that's what defines access consciousness, and how does both of them can be incorporated into an artificial intelligence system. That's a debate that you're going to have on this channel regarding under this category. Then there is a concept that is very interesting, and it's a concept about which can be categorized in cognitive sciences as well. It's called neural networks, or in other words, the neurons in the brain. So it's a very similar concept of that of cognitive science, but just transmit or transform or mutate that into a program or an algorithm, like having the same synapses like xions and dendrites, dendrites, and neural connections and neural wiring that we have in our brain that respond towards a different kind of a stimuli that we achieve from this world and our surrounding and the behaviors of people and all other living beings, and transform that into a computer or a technological based system, and you get neural networks of an artificial intelligence system. That's what it entails. So I'm going to go in broad detail about that and how are those neural networks and this concept of neural network is applied in artificial intelligence in a separate video. There will be a whole lecture on that since it's really interesting and everything. The next thing is going to cover about is super intelligent systems, if it's a myth or a reality or something that we have like a fear about them, or it's a concept that is not achievable or achievable as well, and the risks and threats of artificial intelligence and their benefits. So it's going to cover a lot of those things, since like we have this concept or security threat that we have, that perhaps if artificial intelligence or systems that are superhuman, like superhumans or robots that if they require just like indoctrinate or they've been embedded with consciousness as that of humans, so they're going to take over the human civilizations. The threat that we have, it's a concept that has been revolving, and it's a fear that we have of annihilation in terms of artificial intelligence and towards this concept, and it has gained a lot of traction over the period of time as well. There is a huge critique on this since just because of the presence and existence of this fear, and to what extent is it actually real and to what extent it's not is going to be a debate and a part of this category of channel. So stay tuned for more content. There is a lot of things coming as well. I am gonna make one more video, which will be under the playlist of the Sentient Within, which is a separate playlist. The concept behind this specific name was to actually express whatever I feel as a human, as a sentient human, as well as with the world and how I observe and see the world and the emotions that I have, and to express them in more and more artistic form, and as well as with a lot of creative expression. So it's a playlist that will have like a plethora of content. So one of the videos that is coming up over there would be about tattoos. Since I'm too much into it, as well as there is like a huge history behind tattoos. It pertains to a lot of civilizations that has been a concept, a custom in a lot of civilizations wherever they used to go for war or celebrations. It has like a lot of history attached to it. There is meaning, philosophical as well as cultural beliefs associated and identification associated with tattoos and the art of tattoo making. From monks to tattoo artists in the modern era, everyone identify with some kind of tattoos that they try to ink on their bodies. It's a completely phenomenal kind of an experience. It's something which is not just very abstract in nature. It's something that makes you feel identification of being a part of a tribe as well, a part of a family, or being associated, which is a human need to be associated with some kind of a community or a tribe. So it reflects a lot of that. So it's going to be about that, and it's going to come up soon. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys soon. Ciao, sapiens!